Welcome everyone to the Coaching Business Masterclass. I am the host of this masterclass. My name is Josh Valentine. For those of you who don't know me, really excited to go into something that's super important in my life, which is the world of coaching and speaking. However you were invited, whether you're a beginner, or you're someone who's just playing a fly on the wall, maybe you have expertise in this realm and you're looking to take it to the next level, this masterclass is for you. I'm personally going to be going over how I built my coaching business from scratch and how I built it to a highly successful coaching business. And let's jump right into it. I'm going to share some slides for you all. That way we can get some visuals. And here we go. So now, in case you're wondering, who is Josh Valentine? So you can find me all over the internet. You guys are more than welcome to connect. I'm on every social media platform. You can Google me, and I'm a life and business coach. Some people know of me as a holistic life coach because I integrate a little bit of everything when it comes to my coaching, but I also do podcasting. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and this masterclass is for those of you who probably specialize in something specific. It doesn't necessarily have to be business coaching. It doesn't have to be life coaching, but maybe you want to monetize your specific expertise and knowledge, and you're looking for how to actually grow a business in this realm. So I know a thing or two, and I'm really excited to kind of share with you what has worked for me over the years. So a lot of people know of me for the work that I do with my podcasting. I'm the host of the Journey podcast, where I interview some of the most successful people in the world, from industry experts, pro athletes. I have influencers and so much more, really successful entrepreneurs. And many people know of me from that. Some people may have seen me on television. I speak for an NBC network all around the world, national television. And yeah, so when it comes to just launching this coaching business, I want to go a little bit into my story and like why I coach in the first place, because the most important thing here is to really identify, why do you want to coach? Why do you want to coach? I want you to ask yourself that for a second. Maybe you can take some notes right now and answer the question, why do you want to coach? Do you want to coach for the income because you've heard it's very lucrative? Do you want to coach for the time freedom or the financial freedom? Maybe you want to coach for the significance, to make an impact, to change lives all around the world. But why do you want to coach? Now, when it comes to coaching, there's so many different ways you can go about coaching. And just to be clear, you don't necessarily have to make it a profession where you're getting paid. But this masterclass is specifically on how to get you paid and how I've done it over the years, because I have a highly successful coaching business and it didn't start out of nowhere. I do have a very humble beginning, and I'm going to go a little bit into my story and how I pretty much got into the world of coaching. So first and foremost, when it comes to your why, my why today is really my family. So I have a family of 5. I have 3 young children with my amazing wife, Kia, and we homeschool our kids. When we're not homeschooling them, we're world schooling them. And I personally love coaching as a lucrative financial vehicle for my family. So it also gives me the flexibility to choose my own hours, to be able to work from home or pretty much work from anywhere around the world. 90% of my coaching is pretty much done virtually, which is amazing. And my family is a big reason why I still coach till this day. Okay, now I'm going to go a little bit into my backstory, because you may see all the fancy stuff going on behind the scenes, but my life didn't start there. So I grew up very humble beginnings in East New York, Brooklyn, and I grew up at a time where East New York was a hotbed for murder, crime, drugs, all of these different things. And I personally didn't necessarily have the best influences in my life. And I personally also transformed my life over the years through personal development, through mentorship, through coaching. And that's why I'm so passionate about coaching, because I know what it has done for my life and the transformation that it allowed me to go through. And I know for a fact that by the power of my coaching, I have the ability to help people go through their personal transformation as well. And I always knew that I had a lot more in store for my life. God had a lot more in store for my life. And I wanted to share my story with the world. I wanted to speak on stages around the world and impact people that could relate to my story. So here I am today, coaching you guys, and maybe you also come from humble beginnings. But for the most part, this is my origin story, okay? And over the years, I've had the great privilege of having a lot of success as an entrepreneur. Now, I came from the travel industry. I'm still in the travel and lifestyle industry. So for those of you who want to stay doing what you're doing, the great thing about coaching is that you can still do what you do. You don't necessarily have to stop doing what you do. So I'm still in the travel and lifestyle space, and I've helped tons of people around the world. And I personally love coaching because it complements what I do in business. So my wife and I, we've run multiple businesses over the years, and we always had coaching to fall back on, which I love. So the one thing about building your brand, and many of you probably know of me from Instagram as the World Traveler. The one thing about building your brand is that your brand is the most portable asset that you'll ever have in this lifetime. You take you wherever you go. So part of what I did over the years was just built my brand and my reputation in the travel and lifestyle space and in the entrepreneur space. And then once I built up my credibility with that, that's when I embarked on the world of coaching. So whatever it is, maybe you have experience, maybe you don't. You don't necessarily need all the fancy accolades and all that stuff in order to get into coaching, but it most certainly can help. Okay, so what is coaching in the first place? I love to kind of go back and to the origins of the word coach and what it actually means today, because what coaching was, what the word coach was hundreds of years ago is completely different than how it's applied today. So in case you didn't know this, the word coach originates from the Hungarian town of Kocs, known for producing high quality carriages, and the term evolved to mean both a horse-drawn carriage and later a person who guides or trains others. Okay, so this town, Kocs, it's how the word coach came to be. They produced these horse and buggy style coaches and all throughout Europe. And eventually, right, kochi is the Hungarian word, right, which means carriage or wagon, okay? And it's specifically associated with the town of Kocs. So the interesting thing about it is the word evolved over time. And in the 18th century, there were a lot of English students in Oxford that used the word coach as slang for professor, because a professor was someone who symbolized a person who helped people get from where they were to where they wanted to be. So that's what a coach was, right? Just like how you ride in a coach and it's a means for transportation. And that's essentially how the word got translated into someone who helps someone get from where they are to where they want to be. Now, in the 1860s, the word kind of evolved into the athletic sense, right? Many people knew of the word coach from the world of athletics. So it continued to evolve. And then in the last few decades, it's become described as a person who trains athletes, guides individuals in personal or professional development, or of course, refers to a type of bus or class of airline travel. So the word has evolved, but essentially you as a coach is someone who helps people get from where they are to where they want to be. That's what you are as a coach, nothing more, nothing less. So there's all types of different coaching that you can do. The question is, what do you want to coach on? So for me, I identify as a life and business coach or a holistic life coach. So I coach a lot on body, mind, and soul, the well-being of your whole being, but you can pretty much choose what type of coaching you want to do. I know people who coach specifically on an expertise in something, in an industry. I have tons of coaches that I've certified over the years as well who have their own style of coaching, their own modalities. So for me, again, I coach when I'm speaking on television, I coach as a holistic life coach, teaching people how they can take their lives to the next level, how they can improve their lives. And that's my style. So the first thing I want you to do is write down what type of coach you want to be, because this is essentially how you're going to market yourself. Okay, you're going to position yourself in the marketplace as an authority in one specific area. So in my realm, I'm an authority as a holistic life coach. Okay, so identify what type of coach you want to be. Now, who do you want to coach? This is a major, major question that you need answered, because a lot of people, what tends to happen is they don't run a profitable coaching business for the simple fact that they don't know who they want to coach. So that's super important to understand, okay? Who do you want to coach? And in the world of coaching, we refer to this ideal client as an avatar. So who is your avatar or your ideal client? Now, you have to get very, very specific. Sometimes people are like, I want to coach everybody. But my recommendation, and from my personal experience, it does help to identify who is your target market, who is the ideal person you want to coach. So, for example, my clients, my students even, they tend to be predominantly women, not all women, but my coaching practice is predominantly women. And usually I get professional women that fall between the age range of like 35 and 60 years old. Don't ask me why, but for whatever reason, that's just how it ended up working out for me. And the majority of my coaching practice is these types of women. These are women that do very well financially, even men. You know, I have men as well that I coach all the time. But I know that my target market, again, is within that age range, you understand? And it doesn't always necessarily have to be a race. Maybe it is. Maybe it's only women. The main thing you have to realize, though, is that let's just say you only coach for women. You're cutting yourself off to half of the population. I wanted to coach men and women, old and young. So just because you classify your avatar as a specific age range doesn't necessarily mean that that's all your clientele is going to consist of. I've done professional development, for example, for the Ministry of Tourism. I've had coaches and leaders in organizations in industry, entertainment, education, government, all kinds of people that I've coached over the years in organizations that I've done coaching and consulting for. So it doesn't necessarily have to be one specific age range, but it most certainly helps, especially when you're marketing and you're out there positioning yourself in the marketplace. So here's a few of the people that I've worked with over the years. Priscilla, for example, she's a trauma recovery expert, a speaker, and a mindset coach. I recently had her on my podcast, and I've worked with her, and she's doing absolutely incredible. She has a background in law. I think she went to Johns Hopkins University, very prestigious Ivy League graduate, and she's doing incredible things in the world of coaching, and her specialty is trauma recovery. We also have Blanca. Blanca is a holistic life coach. She's also gone through my certification. She's on tons and tons of podcasts these days, and she's speaking all around the country, which is amazing. And she's phenomenal. She started out specifically as a massage therapist and continued to expand her healing modalities. And eventually she wanted to go from working with just her hands to also working with her mind. And that's where I kind of came into the picture to help her embark on that journey. We also have people like Pamela. Pamela's a TV and media personality. Maybe you guys have seen her on the internet or on television, and she's also a business coach. And I've worked with her over the years in building a highly successful coaching business. And she does absolutely amazing. She does all kinds of coaching and consulting for her business clients. Now, we have people like Kimo. Kimo is a portfolio governance expert for a Fortune 100 company. She's a coach. She's also embarking on podcasting now, one of my students. And again, she works her career. She loves what she does, but she also has the coaching and consulting side. And we also have my really good friend, and I've worked with Justin over the years in coaching, and Justin does B2B sales consulting for a Fortune 100 company. And we started working together. He was looking to expand more so into consulting and provide his services to a lot more companies around the world. So these are the different types of people that I work with. And again, I have my ideal clientele. I have my ideal avatar in mind. So these are typically six-figure income earners, people 35 plus who are looking to expand their careers through coaching and consulting. Okay, now, how do you want to coach? It's a big, big question. And when it comes to how you want to coach, one thing I had heard someone say years ago is, I love what I do. I don't love the way I do it. And that's super, super important, because you may love coaching, but you absolutely despise the way you go about coaching. And I'm going to share with you like the way that I prefer coaching and the way that I personally go about it. And it's not for everyone. So there's not a one size fits all approach when it comes to the world of coaching. You have to identify what resonates with you and your lifestyle and just your style as a coach in general. You may resonate more with group coaching. I've had students that I certified that they started doing one-on-one coaching and realized that they actually prefer to coach groups. I have people that love one-on-ones, but they are freaked out by speaking on stages around the world. So again, you have to identify how you want to go about coaching. Now, I love this saying, you have to go from sales to service. Now, let me say something to you that a lot of coaches are probably not going to tell you. So many coaches kind of shy away from letting their mentees know that, hey, you have to be really good at sales and marketing. And I know for some of you, sales can be a bit cringe for you and it's super uncomfortable. Let's be honest, the vast majority of people in the world do not like to sell. And if that's the case for you, I just want you to reframe the way that you look at selling. So I look at sales as service. I am helping someone make a decision, an informed and educated decision to take their lives to the next level. That's the way that I look at sales. I don't shy away from sales, but one thing that I've learned is there is no shortage of really amazing coaches. What there is a shortage of are coaches that are phenomenal at sales and marketing. So my recommendation is to build your skills when it comes to sales and marketing. You have to build your skills in this area if you want to be a highly successful coach. Now, there are certain ways you can go about the sales process. I believe in humanizing my selling tactics, and you just have to get really good at being comfortable with sales. And if you can get to the point where you're comfortable with sales, I can assure you that it'll get better over time and you'll start to get comfortable with it and you'll start to grow a love for it. I love setting up discovery calls and creating clients. Creating clients is probably one of my favorite things to do because you're helping someone and you're getting to a moment in truth in their lives where they're about to make a critical decision that could potentially change their lives forever. And I love being a part of that process. I love being the person that encourages them to make a decision. Okay. And if you truly believe in yourself as a coach, if you truly believe in your service, then you're going to 100% sell yourself. And that's the most important thing. You have to sell yourself before you can sell other people on your coaching. So identify what makes you a phenomenal coach. Why should they hire you? Can you genuinely help someone, like the word coach, get from where they are to where they want to be? And if you know without a shadow of a doubt you can get the results, then selling is not going to be an issue. Now, I started out specifically as a community builder. I started out in travel. I was helping people travel all around the world. And I started building coaching and my community organically. So I was belly to belly. I wasn't these internet marketers that started running ad campaigns and funnels and spending all this money to grow my influence. And maybe you're a part of a church community, maybe you're a part of a business community like I was, but this is how I started, specifically in travel. I was helping people travel around the world. The community that I was growing, we were all about mentorship. We were about travel, entrepreneurship, philanthropy. These were some of our core values as a community. So I was helping people, again, travel around the world and do a lot of philanthropy as well. We were building culture and I was living in the Bahamas for about a 10-year period. So a lot of the people that you're seeing in these pictures are people that I was building my coaching practice organically, years teaching on entrepreneurship principles. And that's why I got into the world of business coaching specifically, because a lot of what I coached people on was entrepreneurship. Okay. But again, you have to decide how you want to go about coaching. For me, it was organic, belly to belly. So I love this saying, you can't replace high tech for high touch. And a lot of people want to go straight online, but I started grassroots. I started out with local people. That picture on the left-hand side, that's how my Breakfast Club sessions, for those of you who tune in every Tuesday at 7 a.m., my Tuesday 7 a.m. Breakfast Club sessions started out in coffee shops and food courts, just like that, with a small group of people. It wasn't what it is today, where we're reaching thousands of people from every corner of the globe. It started out very humble beginnings. You see, the picture on my right was my very first mastermind, the very first mastermind session that I had. It was right around New Year's, and we were essentially setting our goals for the year. And this is how I started. Very, very humble beginnings. Now, this is the Breakfast Club today, as you can see. And now we're online, and also the Breakfast Club led to the world of podcasting. And now I'm just able to reach so many more people around the world. But again, I started out just grassroots networking, community building locally. Okay, so you can identify how you want to go about it. You don't only have to just do, let's just say, local community building. You can very well do it online if you choose to, but that's what worked for me as I got into my community. Now, when it comes to coaching, right? I also started to nurture a community online. And this is one of the ways that I did it. So I built community through social media groups like my Knowledge and Inspiration Facebook page. And, as you can see, there are thousands of people in this specific Facebook group. Over the years, I would just share value, and people would invite people to come into this group on Facebook. And that was how I nurtured the community online. And I would always share content. I started doing the Breakfast Club through live streaming, and people would get a lot of value. They'd tag their friends, they'd, comment and engage whenever I had cultural stuff, or maybe I set up trips with my community around the world. All of that stuff was being nurtured right through this Facebook group. Now, there's tons of different social media groups where you have Mighty Networks, you have Instagram groups, Facebook, all kinds of different platforms where you can nurture community. But find out which platform works best for your specific community. For Facebook, for my community, was definitely the best platform at the time. And it was just a really, really great way to reach our people. And a lot of people were on Facebook during those days. So these days, a lot of people are kind of gravitating towards Instagram, but there's a lot of different ways to pretty much nurture a community. Now, I would highly recommend taking this approach, especially if the belly-to-belly grassroots networking like that, let's say, doesn't resonate with you. You can go straight to online, okay? But remember, you can't replace high tech for high touch. So at some point in time, you're going to want to nurture your community with in-person gatherings, okay? So this is how I did it online specifically. This is how we started. The Breakfast Club originally started just in this group, and then eventually I opened it up to the public. Now, out of full transparency, I want to share this. The reason why I started just in this group, because I was terrified of going through just people trolling on my Breakfast Club. I'd have a lot of people engaging, commenting, and I was terrified about people just jumping on the comments and saying crazy things. I saw a lot of influencers who would receive these crazy comments. And I remember in the early days, I was kind of fearful of that, out of full transparency. And I just did it on this Knowledge and Inspiration page. And maybe that's the case for you. Maybe you don't want your family and close friends to see what you have going on when it comes to your specific coaching. And if that's the case for you, you don't want to be all out in the public, then yes, you can do it in a private setting, such as a group like this. Now, that eventually led to my webinars. So I would do Life Mastery events. This specifically was a Life Mastery halftime webinar that I did. And typically my webinars would go 2 to 3 days, and they would be virtual. I'd live stream on that Facebook group. I'd have Zooms just like this. And it was just really great to create a platform for a lot of my friends. Many of my friends I met in mastermind communities. I met my friends through business communities, networking events. And it was really cool because I got to create a platform where I had them share their expertise in their specific realms, which I love. And this was one of our Life Mastery halftime events. Typically, what I would do is at the beginning of the year, I would have kind of like a New Year resolutions Life Mastery webinar event. And then halfway through the year, I would have the community reset. And the live webinars, I actually invested in a mastermind program. I spent thousands and thousands of dollars on this mastermind just to learn the valuable skills on how to essentially create a lead magnet, a funnel, because in the world of coaching and marketing in general, you want to create a funnel where you, let's say, have a free ecosystem. So we would sell tickets, let's say, $50 to $100, depending if they were general admission or VIP. Sometimes we would have a free option as well, just to get people in. And this is also how I started my email list in the early days. So starting an email list will be super valuable for you at some point in time, because honestly, your email list is the only thing you really own. Meta, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, all of these platforms, TikTok, I mean, TikTok just went through its whole ordeal and people were terrified who were building their influence on TikTok. Any social media platform can cut you off at any point in time, but your email list you'll always have. So this was one of the ways that I kind of nurtured the community in the early days, and these Life Mastery events have led to a lot of high ticket sales. And typically I'd start out at 15K sales. I've sold retreats that have done really well through these Life Mastery programs, my mastermind communities, all of that pretty much was shared through these webinars. So it's a really great way to monetize your coaching. Now, I want to share a little bit on marketing and my approach these days. So why content is the king and distribution the queen when it comes to marketing. And as you can see in this left post, 2.4 million people blog posts are written every day. 2.4 million blog posts, right? But think about how many emails are sent out. 108 billion with a B, right? But there's only 2.4 million posts that are actually created. And that's why distribution is so powerful. Because if you look at the right side, look at this. According to research, only 50% of web content created gets shared. And there's an 80-20 rule for content marketing. So a lot of the times, let's say 20% of your effort is going to be on content creation and 80% is going to be on content distribution. So when you think about the work that I do with my Breakfast Club sessions, for example, these are long form, 1 to 2 hour coaching sessions. And what I do is I take the long form and I distribute it across all different platforms. And I'm going to show you how I do it here shortly. And then I create short form content out of it. I personally don't resonate with creating content every day. I actually, it's one of the things that I dread. So for those of you who are like, I just can't stand creating content every single day, it's daunting for me. Listen, there's hope. And I'm going to show you how to streamline the whole process and make it a lot simpler for yourself. So this is one of the platforms that I've been utilizing recently, and StreamYard, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you pay anywhere from $45 a month up to like $90 a month. Depending on the time you're listening to this, they may change it, but that's basically what you pay. I think it's like 45 on the low end. And this allows you to stream across multiple social media outlets. So today, StreamYard allows me to have people register and log in. They can watch my Breakfast Clubs right from StreamYard, which allows me to get emails. And then I can also distribute it to YouTube, which I have well over 11,000 subscribers. I have my Facebook, which I have thousands and thousands of followers on Facebook, and also on Instagram, tens of thousands of followers on Instagram. Now, do you need all those followers? Absolutely not. But it allows you to widen the funnel. You have to think of the sales funnel, right? The sales funnel, it starts off really wide at the top because you get people in, let's say, to your free ecosystem, and then eventually you convert your free ecosystem, these people who plug into your community, and they convert into clients. You're not going to convert 100% of them, of course, but you will have a percentage of your community that are willing to invest in your services. So StreamYard simply allowed me to widen the funnel, if you will. At the beginning, it was the knowledge and inspiration page, let's say about 3,000 people. Then I opened it up to the public, right, on Facebook. And then from Facebook, I went to Instagram, even widening the funnel even more, and then YouTube. So I can live stream on YouTube, and every single Breakfast Club session can potentially lead to clients. That's what I love about it, because you're adding value. The idea is jab, jab, hook, as you probably have heard media experts like Gary Vaynerchuk mention. So jab, jab, hook is you add value, add value, add value, and then you hook your community with your offer. Okay, so super, super important when it comes to building your coaching practices. You want to add as much value as possible, especially if you're doing your coaching predominantly online. Now, these are some of the things that I utilize infrastructurally. So you guys are on Zoom right now. Originally, I was utilizing MailChimp to capture my emails and to run my email campaigns. MailChimp is a really good platform on the very affordable side as well. And with Zoom, there's so many features on Zoom. I would say Zoom has probably made me the most money in terms of infrastructure when it comes to my coaching practice, because you can also set up webinars and capture emails. And again, build your email list right on Zoom. And then Zoom, you could also live stream across different platforms as well. Now, today, one of my favorite platforms that I use is Kajabi. If you'd like, I can send you my referral link as well so that you can get a discount on Kajabi, but this is infrastructurally what I use. So Kajabi is really cool because basically, I think I pay right around $200 a month. So it's not necessarily cheap for everyone, right? I think $200 is a steal of a deal because it's a one-stop shop. I can run my email campaigns. I have my entire database of resources. So all of those past webinars that I've done, I have as a database, and our mastermind community gets access to my entire database of resources. I have courses on there. I can run my funnels and campaigns right through Kajabi. You can integrate it with your website. There's so many different things that you can do. So you may not start here, but if you want to scale to the highest levels, eventually you're going to need infrastructure. You're going to need systems. And these systems that you put in place will allow you to scale at the highest levels. Okay, now, daily communication. The one thing I disagree with a lot of coaches on is sometimes they'll say, oh, you should be using platforms like Mighty Networks, or use this fancy platform or that platform. I like going on platforms that people are actually on. So for example, I didn't utilize Mighty Networks as a platform for the simple fact that a lot of people don't pull up Mighty Networks every single day, but most people will pull up their WhatsApp every single day. That's a big reason why I utilize WhatsApp for daily communication when it comes to my community. And when I say my community, this is specifically for our inner circle. These are people who are paid clients, and that's how I nurture the paid clients community, not the bigger ecosystem. You have the social media groups for that, but my paid community is directly on WhatsApp. Now, eventually, as I continued on this coaching journey, I started a company. Now, as a coach, do you have to start a company? Absolutely not. I think it'll be wise if you're starting to bring in revenue to set up your LLC. Maybe you set up a C Corp, S Corp, however you want to go about it. But I started an entire marketing services company where we do coaching, consulting, we do a lot of things. And this is pretty much everything that I have going on digitally as an entrepreneur is through my company, Dream Nation Media. Now, the benefit of starting your own business and having a business account is the simple fact that at some point in time, usually after about 2 years of having your business account open, you can actually raise funding for your business. The banks will loan you money and you can pretty much scale what it is that you have going on. So there's great value in expanding. Right now, as I scaled my coaching practice, again, it started out very small. One-on-one coaching was my bread and butter, and I had different coaching services that I offered. But for those of you who want to scale to the highest levels, let's say 6 figures, 7 figures, then you're going to need a team in place. You're going to need infrastructure. You're going to need different types of coaching services and consulting services that you offer. So for example, I do a lot of business consulting. So with my company, we actually we have marketing services and consulting. We have social media services, mastermind communities, digital courses. We have, social media monetization across all platforms. So all of my content is actually monetized. Today, when I live stream my Breakfast Club sessions, I'm being paid from Meta and YouTube for something that I'm going to do anyway, which is pretty amazing. And with our business model, we help people scale their brands and businesses through growing their digital blueprint by helping them scale with their social media. Maybe you're not the best with social media and you need help in this area. That's specifically what we do. This led to the different conferences that we have. We do live podcast experience, all kinds of things that we have within the company. So that's what I love is at some point in time, if you don't want to just be a small business owner when it comes to coaching and you want to kind of go to the big business category, then you're going to need a team, infrastructure, different services. So I just wanted to share this and show you guys what's possible. Now, I want to transition into podcasting and why I specifically got into podcasting as a coach. First and foremost, podcasting can open up a world of opportunity for you. As you can see the statistics here, you have the types of influencers that brands want to work with today are micro influencers, not even the big influencers with 50,000 or 100,000 plus followers. They're micro influencers. A lot of people trust podcasters, especially if you're a coach or a consultant or expert in something specific. So podcasting, it does extremely well. And you know what's so crazy? The picture on the bottom in the middle was a picture of me and Trey. He does a lot of our content creation. And we went to the 10th anniversary of PodFest, which supposedly was like the biggest podcast conference in the country. And when I tell you, it was super small. It was a very small event. I was mind blown at how young the podcasting industry still is. And the thing about it is today, a lot of people, I speak on national television, but there are far more people that see me on social media these days and know of me from social media than people who know of me from television, right? How many of you actually watch TV today? Like regular TV, the news? Most of you probably do not, but all of you are on social media. So that's why podcasting is so profound, and it'll open up a lot of doors. A lot of the people you interview can potentially become clients. It'll also reinforce your credibility and authority in this space. So I definitely recommend at some point in time, if this resonates with you, running your own podcast, I definitely recommend it. And if you don't know absolutely, like you have no idea where to start, hit me up. I'll be more than happy to guide you. I have tons of people who I help launch podcasts, a lot of my past students as well. And it's just a really, really great media outlet and can open up a world of opportunity, from sponsorships to brand partnerships to all kinds of stuff. Also, a lot of people will hop onto your podcast, and here's the thing, you'll be able to reach an audience all around the world and then get them into your free ecosystem, and then they end up becoming clients. So also another great way to do it. So my podcast, The Journey with Josh Valentine, we pretty much share inspiring stories and life lessons that came along the way. So I get to interview some of the most successful people that I know. And the cool thing is, because I speak on television, I get a lot of guests from the TV network where I speak at. And some people, I just go right into their DMs and I'm hitting them up on Instagram and sending them a personal message. So you don't even have to be like a TV personality to thrive in podcasting, but it is a really, really great vehicle. And my podcast was able to, get my YouTube monetized, which is pretty cool. Because today, again, I make money for every podcast that I upload on YouTube. I'm able to monetize, and long-term, right? I have a traveling podcast. So my vision long-term is to potentially sell the podcast, maybe, to, let's say, a Netflix or a SiriusXM for the audio component. But I have a traveling podcast. I interview people in different production sets all around the world. And there's so many cool ways you can go about, the podcasting world, and also just coaching and consulting. So these days, I'm also doing live podcast experience. So now I'm integrating the belly to belly in-person grassroots coaching with the online as well. And we just had a creators conference, for example, recently, creating platforms in person. So you can very well, again, have sort of a hybrid model where you're doing in person and virtual. Okay, so I love this part of the work that I do when it comes to coaching. I love this aspect of it because I get to meet some really cool people and I get to impact a lot of people, and you get to grow your following. A lot of people that you podcast or interview, many times they're sharing your content as well on their platforms, and you're able to reach their audience as well. On Instagram, for example, you can collaborate with people on Instagram and reach their entire community by them sharing a post that you do with them. So my suggestion is, if you go and embark on podcasting, it doesn't have to be video initially. It could honestly just be audio. But if you do video, there's a world of opportunity that you can open up with video as well. So again, go about it with a way that resonates with you. Now, for those of you who have great aspirations to be speakers, I want to give you a heads up. you're going to need a speaker reel. How do I know this? The mastermind, I invested in a mastermind, again, thousands and thousands of dollars for one of the top speakers in the world right now, who's getting paid upwards of $100,000 a speech. And I remember as I was going through this mastermind, I realized there was a lot of pieces of the puzzle that I was missing. So this right here, though, I wanted to share because this is probably going to be one of the most important parts of your not only coaching journey, but your speaking journey. So you need what we call a speaker reel. And a speaker reel is you speaking on different stages around the world. Maybe it's you on podcasts, maybe it's you creating the content. But whenever you go to become a speaker, many times the organizations that are willing to pay you thousands and thousands of dollars for 1 hour of your time, these organizations want to know that you can actually speak. So this, again, may not apply to you if you're at the early stages, but if you want to scale to the highest levels and you want to start taking your coaching and speaking on stages around the world, this is going to be one of the most valuable things that you can implement, because speaking at a high ticket rate, typically what separates highly paid speakers versus speakers that don't really make much money is a speaker reel, because it's all packaging in the marketplace. It's perceived value in the marketplace. They have to feel that if you come on and talk in front of their audience, that you're going to deliver. Could you imagine being an event organizer and your job is to bring on a speaker that your company or organization is going to pay $25,000, right? Imagine if you bring a speaker and you bomb, right? Like the speaker comes and the speaker is just terrible. Maybe they have stage fright. Maybe they freak out on stage, or they're just absolutely boring. And you just were responsible for taking $25,000 out of that budget. Really, really tough place to be. So again, organizations, they want to see that you can actually speak. And this is kind of like a real quick snippet of my speaker reel. As you can see, it's a combination of me speaking, and you can hear about my story and what I'm about and all of these different things through my speaker reel. So I would highly suggest this at some point in time on your journey if you want to be a highly paid speaker as well. So as I get ready to wrap up here, and this is a coaching container, and you have to identify what different services you're going to offer. So I have services that, let's just say high ticket, that are 6-month programs, whether it's the students that I certify. Sometimes I'll have coaching packages that are 90 days to transformation packages, where I'll coach clients for 90 days on whatever they need coaching on. And on the low end, for very low ticket, I have my mastermind community. And the way the coaching containers work, it's just like a Tupperware set of containers, where let's say they're a part of the 6-month certification program, they get access to everything else that you offer, right? If they're 90 days to transformation, they get access to everything else that you offer. The mastermind community is really the low ticket, because I wanted to be able to add value to people who are even on a tight budget, not just, let's say, 6- and 7-figure people that can afford my services, but I wanted to reach the everyday person that also wanted just coaching on a monthly basis. Okay, so as I wrap up, I just want you guys to understand these 3 things. These are probably the most 3 critical things when it comes to coaching and running a highly profitable coaching business. Number 1, build a brand, whether it's locally, in person, or even online, but build a brand, because your brand is your modern day resume. That's just what it is. It's your modern day resume. People can know what you're about by just hopping on to your brand. It's a valuable asset because your brand can always bring in revenue for you. Secondly, you want to offer complimentary coaching sessions. Coach as much as you possibly can. Offer as many complimentary coaching sessions. This was the number 1 advice that I had got on my coaching journey, was to just offer complimentary coaching sessions and create an experience for people. My suggestion would be a minimum of 1 to 2 hours for that coaching discovery call, is what we call it. And for those of you who probably don't really know how to deliver a coaching session, hit me up. I'm going to be sharing my Calendly link, or you could even DM me the word on my social media. DM me the word coach. I'll be more than happy to send you my Calendly link. You can hop on with me, and I'll break down, some of the questions that you may need answers to, or how to even deliver an effective coaching session. Maybe you want to experience one yourself. Okay, so just hit me up. You'll also have my Calendly link most likely shared on here where you can book a slot that works best for you. And lastly is always get coaching. I remember I was super hard-headed with this. I would think to myself, well, I don't need coaching. There's just something about the belief in coaching. When you believe that coaching works, it just permeates through you when you have your own coach that you're investing in, and your clients can feel the difference. And do not be the coach that's trying to build at a high level with no coaching. I've never met anyone who's a coach that coaches at a very high level, a super profitable business, that doesn't have a coach. I've invested over $100,000 on coaching, mentoring, personal development, all of that over the years. Not to say that you have to invest that much, but always have a coach along the way. And this is one of the fastest ways to get to where you want to be. Okay, now, as I close out, I just want you guys to know I have a phenomenal mastermind community, the Dream Nation Mastermind. We've made this affordable for pretty much everyone. And if you have questions about how you can be a part of a mastermind community where you can learn the information you need to get to the next level, because again, you're going to need some kind of a tribe, a mastermind, a community that you can be a part of where you can ask questions, where you can get resources and information, and your network is your net worth. That's one of the things that I learned early on as well, is that I needed to have access to other coaches and see what was working for them in order to thrive at the highest levels. So feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to send you some information on how you could be a part of our mastermind community. And lastly, I just want to say this. The world needs your story. The world needs your story. This is a picture, the only picture that I really have from childhood of my father and I. And I was one of those guys that grew up without their biological father in their lives. And, you know, for me to go from that, growing up in the ghetto and growing up on government assistance and really transforming my life and becoming the man that I am today, a father, a husband, and you know, community builder, leader of thousands of people all around the world, I knew that I had a story to tell. And I knew the world needed to hear my story. I knew that there were people like possibly like yourself who come from humble beginnings like myself. And I wanted to be able to show people what's possible in their lives. And this life has allowed me to do some really incredible things. And I know that it can do the same for you. Coaching has been the best decision that I've made from a business standpoint, was just to get involved with coaching. It's so rewarding, so fulfilling. And I know that it will absolutely bring so much significance and fulfillment in your life. And I hope that this masterclass was great inspiration for you. And, you know, to be able today to not only homeschool our kids, but world school them and be able to pick my hours and coach my clients from anywhere around the world. This is my why today. My why to not only provide for my family, but also to be able to serve people around the world, to be a guiding light to so many people who desperately need it. And thank you so much for hopping on. I look forward to talking with many of you, and feel free to share this. Anybody who you know who can get value from this masterclass, feel free to share it, you know, and if you have any questions, I mean, I'm a message away. You guys can reach out to me anywhere online, or even set up a time to meet with me from a coaching standpoint. I'd be more than happy to kind of lead you in the right direction. And till next time, guys, take care. God bless.